So this is my review of Where I'm Coming From Stevie Wonder. It released in 1971, and this album really was almost the launching pad for the 70s successes of Music of My Mind, Talking Good and Inner Visions. But this was before that era, and it signalled the ever-increasing desire for Stevie to have more control over the content that he was going to release. Prior to this, Berry Gordy had kept a strict rein on what was, as he viewed, necessary to make the company thrive and to provide what he perceived was what the public wanted, which kept a strict rein on Stevie's more ambitious aspects of his artistic development. But Where I'm Coming From certainly enabled the rein to be loosened somewhat, and the influence of Sarita Wright is quite considerable in this album, and she was involved quite a lot in the writing of the material, and she was at that time Stevie's wife. It was the last album produced under the first contract with Motown Records, but it certainly signalled, as I say, an expansive sound that was to prove so successful down the years. This album enabled Stevie to take complete control of the production of the recordings. Motown still retained control over what content was to be released, but this was because Stevie had reached the ripe old age of 21, and in an early contract there was a clause which allowed him to void when he became a legal adult the aspect of the contract. A new contract was necessary, and Wundy was holding out at that point, and this enabled him to have a lot more impact on more radical sounds than previously. For example, his lyrical content had a much more political feel to it. The song, for example, I want to talk to you, was a reflection of the debate that was raging about black and white talking together. And he also, on the music side, continued to develop the use of the clavinet substantially on this record before it became a very dominant instrument in the next recording. So there we have it. Where I'm Coming From, I think a very significant album in the musical career and development of one Stevie Wonder, no longer Little Stevie. And this is my review. So let's look at the 1971 album Where I'm Coming From Stevie Wonder. I'm going to go through it as usual, track by track. It kicks off with Look Around, an audacious classical piano intro to Stevie's vocals, and then those dreamy choral harmonies ooze like the enchanting sounds from beyond. It's an orchestral painting, atmospheric with idyllic clarinet, I think. Lyrically, it's a song about life's philosophies, life's desires, the importance of increased awareness and understanding where love fits in. Track 2, Do Yourself A Favour, funky it is. It's a preview of Superwoman, which came on the next album, Music of My Mind. It's an extravaganza of energy, lofty lyrics. It has keyboards straight from Chicago, albeit sparingly, and the cacophony of voices mixed with a keyboard montage is something out of this world. It's keyboard dominated, but it's got a touch to it. Lyrically, I think Steve's saying we all need to take a good hard look at ourselves and become self-aware and try and kick out our self-centeredness, and that selfish actions will soon be our maker. And this is where we have an opportunity to radically change. Track 3, Think of Me as Your Soldier. The strings serenade this ballad that eases into your sensations. It's a beautiful song with characteristic flutes and other gentle horns mixed with orchestral strings. Pure wonderment. And then the bass takes over the solo duties, and then add in some clavinet. Lyrically, about love, of course, and how a man one should be aware, protective, and look after the loved one, and be there to share the pain. Track 4, Something Out of the Blue, continues the melodic feel to the album. The clavinet again prominent, with violins and violas enriching the happiness of the sound. It's got a French feel about it, as well as I think there's a harpsichord in there somewhere. It really does epitomise learning about the use of strings. Stevie is really expanding his abilities. Lyrically, it's a song where love is for a special one, and that inspires some hope. Track 5 then, If You Really Love Me. There's a nice horn intro. This was a hit single, although I don't remember it, and it's pops up with some exuberance, which is somewhat hypnotising. Some great trumpet and a change of pace at the bridge, inspiring some clapping inspired horn. Stevie's centre stage, preaching a heart full of joy, of course, and lyrically a song about playing with feelings, not being straight about how you feel. So to track 6 then, I Want to Talk to You. It's over 5 minutes, this one. It starts off with a gentle piano accompanying Stevie's solo vocal before the slinky, funky, blues-like rhythm seeps into the air. There's some wacky vocals in the chorus area which add a little bit of humour to this tongue-in-cheek delivery. And lyrically, I think it's Stevie making a point about each and every one of us having some value. Track 7, Take Up a Course in Happiness. There's some really nice horns on this track that add to the rhythm and blues beat, and the strings abound. And this has the likes of those soul pop hits that Stevie was familiar with 2 or 3 years earlier, and he certainly knows how to put a good arrangement together, albeit an old one. It's still a winning sound. Lyrically, it's just a means to overcome life's struggles. Track 8, Never Dreamed You'd Leave in Summer, is a wonderful melancholic ballad with the piano, the horns fluttering in the back of the mix with the strings, which deliver that classy feeling of heartbreak. And there's a bit of hope joined in as well. Has there ever been a better passionate singer of soul? That's what I ask myself. And it's lyrically about being let down, having a promise broken to one. Finale then, Sunshine in Their Eyes, a second soul ballad to close. It's a little more strident than the previous track, but it still has a lot to be pleasant about. There's some younger voices that join in with the chorus. Yes, it's about children and the hope that they inspire. It's 7 minutes of awesome vocal delivery, mixing it up with a little bit of dance ballad rhythm to enhance the combination of the sound. Reminds me of a little bit of the later work that Stevie did with Sarita Rai, who was his wife at the time. And certainly the the beats are full of joy and happiness, and they certainly make this album look like it's a stepping stone to the giant that followed, Music of My Mind. It's basically lyrically an inspiration from the children's freshness to life, and something that we should hang on to. So in summary, I think there are lots of pointers on this album to where Stevie was heading. The songs certainly have a feel about them that is certainly leading us in that direction. No particular hits on the album, which was significant, and also suggested that Stevie was going to do what he wanted to do rather than provide the content that Motown wanted to continue the barrage of hits that they'd experienced in the 60s. It's a very, very important piece of music in his career, so I suggest you go and listen to it.